Dr. Kesler was one of the best people that I've ever met. I was lucky enough to have him as my voice teacher for 3 years. He was warm, gentle, kind, supportive, stern when needed, my biggest cheerleader, and my shoulder to cry on. I learned a lot from him, and I also learned that my voice is beautiful, and that everybody else's is too. Thank you, Dr. Kesler, for all your many lessons. You will never be forgotten.
One of my favorite memories of Dr. Kesler was when he read us his teaching philosophy, and the third of 3 items on it was kindness. And I think you could see that in every part of who he was, kind and compassionate. And I know the saying goes that people will forget what you did and what you said, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. He was a wonderful teacher, and he will be greatly missed, and he made me a better teacher and a better person.
To me, Dr. Kesler was inspirational. He was an amazing teacher and an amazing person. He was very kind, very compassionate, very understanding, and he always walked with you. This is someone who went beyond their paycheck. They went beyond their job requirements. They went beyond their academic titles to make a meaningful and lasting experience. And I will never forget what Dr. Kesler gave for me. I know he's watching over us, and I know he's rooting us on, just as he always did.
Dr. Kesler was an exceptional musician, educator, and person who continuously demonstrated the deep care that he had for each of his students. I think I can speak for most of my classmates when I say that he truly transformed the way I view education and what it means to be an effective educator. His legacy will continue to live on, certainly at Nazareth, but also in the lives of countless others as all of his students take on different career paths, bringing with them the tools and knowledge that he provided us.
I was one of Dr. Kesler's primary vocal students. It is hard to sum up who Dr. Kesler was to me in 15 to 13 seconds, but in short, he was a man of wisdom. He showed me things about my instrument that I never knew existed. He was patient and kind, and I will always look back at the lessons he has taught me. Dr. Kesler rekindled my passion for singing, and I can never be more thankful for his guidance.
Eric and I had so much fun on stage together. I remember walking out and not always knowing what was going to happen. We just were in the moment and would play, and that was such an incredible experience as 2 teachers and 2 singers coming together to share a meaningful and a really, really fun piece. We even took a selfie together on stage in the spur of the moment, and I just laughed the whole time and had the best time, so I will always remember those beautiful moments.
The sun and bookers and the cruisers took and died. They lays their merry sunny swing into the tide. And I wish as I was there. Round old wooden hookers green with ribbon rack. Ships as never fetched to port as never came back. Swinging through the blushing tide, dipped into the swell, and the crews all singing sunny beating on the bell. And I wish.
And Dr. Kesler was my voice teacher from the time that I was a first semester freshman up until now. So I had him for 5 semesters, and over that period of time, we developed a very close teacher-student relationship. And I would consider him to be one of my most important mentors at NAS. Not only was Dr. Kesler an extremely accomplished and absolutely magnificent singer, I learned a lot from him just by watching him. He was also what I consider to be a model educator, and I think one of the reasons for this was that he was so in tune with the physical or the mental and emotional state of his students. So obviously, at the same time as he wanted to see all of us do well, and he pushed all of us to do well because he knew that we could, and I've grown a lot as a singer from that. He never did so at the expense of our mental health, and I think the fact that he was so in tune with that, I think made our student-teacher relationship really good, and it made him very trustworthy, and I felt like I could open up with him about a lot of things going on in my own life, and I think overall it just made for a really productive student-teacher relationship, and I've grown a lot as a singer and as a musician with him as my teacher. So for that, I'm really, really thankful.
Dr. Kesler, thank you for teaching me the meaning behind the music. Thank you for helping me create the story to give the gift of the music to the audience. I'm forever grateful. I can't believe the impact that you've had on my life in just one semester. You're right, I'll never forget you. Thank you so much.
Dr. Kesler was a funny, enthusiastic, understanding, and patient person. He was the first voice teacher that I have had who made the class fun, and was the first voice teacher who understood that not all of us were amazing singers. I haven't sung by myself in front of a class ever, let alone actually practice a song until I took Dr. Kessler's class. He helped me become confident again in myself and my voice, and I thank him greatly for that. I will truly miss having Dr. Kesler at NAS and all the fun classes that were to come.
Dr. Kesler was an amazing teacher and a great role model. When I first signed up to take private voice lessons, I was unsure. I remember dreading the first walk to his office, and I was really nervous to meet him. After our first lesson, there was no doubt in my mind he was the person I wanted to study with. He got me excited to sing, which I never thought was possible. I'm grateful for all the memories I have with him, the conversations we had. I'm really glad I got to know him. He inspired me in ways that I only hope to inspire my future students. Thank you, Dr. Kesler. I'm grateful for every lesson that we had together, every conversation. I'm going to miss them.
Dr. Kesler was a very amazing and inspiring music educator. Not only was he an amazing professor, but he was also a very kind, talented, and thoughtful musician. When I took his class, he was shifting my thought process into how to be a good professor and what it meant to be a good professor, and I'm so grateful to have had the opportunity to take his class and collaborate with him.
Dr. Kesler was my studio professor since the beginning of my college experience, and he has taught me and my peers so much, and he's a big part of the reason why I've improved so much as a musician and a performer. He put so much love and so much care into each session and into each studio meeting. He always managed to get a laugh out of us, and Naz really won't be the same without him. A lot of people cared about him, and he will truly be missed.
It's hard to put into words how much Dr. Kesler meant to me and all of my peers. He was an inspirational professor and musician, and he truly cared about the students' mental health and well-being. There were many days when we'd walk into class and we'd all look so stressed and burnt out, and he would scrap his lesson plan and just let us talk the entire class and listened and make sure we were okay. He was an inspiration, and he will never be forgotten, but he will always be missed, but at least his music will always live in our hearts.
I had Dr. Kesler for opera literature, so I only had him for one semester, but he was an incredible teacher, and I am forever grateful for his mentorship and instruction. He always challenged me to come to class prepared, and I was always eager to chat with him about opera and the subjects we were covering in class. With his slight southern drawl, I was always reminded of home and always comforted by his voice somehow, even when he was lecturing on something that just went way over my head.
I was very lucky to have the privilege of having Dr. Kesler as my voice teacher. Not only did he teach me about vocal technique, he also taught me a lot about life. He offered me a safe space to talk about many different struggles that I was experiencing. Dr. Kesler brought back the passion for music and singing that I had lost through the immense passion that he had. I will never be able to thank him enough for that.
Dr. Kesler was a very professional and friendly individual. And even though I knew him very little, his work in the school was profound and unending.
I had the immense pleasure of being on the faculty with Dr. Eric Kesler, and I wanted to say that, Eric, though you are no longer with us here in person, your legacy lives on not only in your students, but in all of the lives you've touched, as well as your beautiful wife, Corinne, and your boys. Thank you, and you will be missed.
When I came in freshman year, I was given Dr. Kesler as my voice instructor. I wasn't quite sure what to think at first, but it quickly became clear that he was an amazing person to have as a voice teacher. He taught me so much more than just vocal technique and how to sing. He taught me kindness and patience and so much more about what it means to be a human in the life that we're living today. If there was ever anything that we needed to talk about, he would let me and his other students just rant. He knew we were humans, and he cared for us and took us as we were, and that is something that I will always be thankful for. I am so thankful for what he was able to teach me, and probably his other voice students and other students as well. He was a light in our music department, and I'll never forget him. Thank you, Dr. Kesler.
Let sense be dumb, let flesh retire, speak through the earthquake, wind, and fire. Oh, still